Hi there, I'm Lisa Taylor, and this is Ideas on Truth. Welcome to the program. If you're watching on the replay, put a hashtag replay and let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me. I have been oh my gosh, I just looked out the window and saw an incredible view of a mountain out there. Wow. With snow all over it. Very cool. I have been witnessing nature in the last couple of days. Hi, Deborah. And just yesterday saw a 12-hour-old little foal, little baby horse. Just amazing. And nature really can teach us a lot. The laws of nature are the laws of spirit. And, when we look at nature and we see the timing, the patience, the effortless growth and progress that you see in nature, it really is quite a model for us to follow. We spend so much time, it's really the false sense of ego and the fear-based thinking that prompts us to spend so much time striving and worrying and grabbing after the right things for us. That doesn't happen in nature. If you look at a seed that turns into a flower, if you look at the bud of a flower, it's not striving. If I looked at this little foal yesterday, it wasn't depressed because it couldn't gallop. It wasn't, resentful of its mom because the mom didn't teach it something. It was just suckling like a little babe and having the nourishment it needed and standing on its little wobbly legs and then going down into the hay to have a little nap when it was ready to. It just was, I know those of you who are in and around nature and around animals particularly know exactly what I'm talking about. This is not news, obviously, but it got me to thinking how we depart from that by getting into fear-based thinking, by getting into egoic thinking. We depart from what is absolutely natural to us. We depart from the sense that there is abundance, that there is everything available to us that we need without striving, without freaking out. How many times do we freak out about stuff when we don't need to? I actually had a healing when I was in the stall with the little foal and the mom. The mom was Brioche, and the foal was Oleandra. I guess the baby, a certain type of horse, it had to be an O name, so they came up with Oleandra. Oleandra was, I think she was going down onto the hay, and she didn't quite know how to sort of bend her legs and get from up to on hay, so she sort of bent and leaned forward and did kind of a face plant into the hay, which was really cute. Oh, I guess it was when she was getting up. When she was getting up, she kind of stumbled and lurched forward, and her little hooves went directly onto my toes. I was visiting a friend and was not planning to be around horses. I did not have on the proper footwear. I had on open-toed shoes, sandals, and my toes were there. And this horse just nailed me on my feet. It really hurt. And I had a choice in that moment. I had to make a choice, a very conscious choice. I could either start swearing very loudly and, see a broken toe, or I could choose to acknowledge the laws of spirit in that moment and acknowledge that in that moment, that little foal was not intending to do anything harmful to me, was just intending to stand up and to go back and nurse with its mom. And I was in a place where I was close to where she was. I didn't intend to be in her way. She didn't know she was going to stumble. So there was no intention, there was no ill intent on either side. There was no need for two ideas coming together to cause harm. There was so much love in that stall with the people watching and the mom and the foal. There was no room for fear. There was no room for any ill intent or fear or any negative cause and effect relationship. So I just absolutely negated the idea in my thought. I just said no. I rejected the thought that there could be harm, that there could be an accident caused out of love, because that's impossible. And I rejected the pain, and I rejected the whole idea that there could be some problem. People were concerned. They asked me, are you okay? And I said, yep, I'm fine. And just turned thought away from that and focused back on the foal. And a little bit later, it seemed clear that the time was up and we were to get out of the stall. The mom actually started backing into all of us and getting us to move out of the way. It was like, time for my baby to have a nap, go away. So even that was a great example of nature taking care of itself. So about 20 minutes later, I had a chance to sort of clean my foot off and get my foot sort of situated in my shoe, and noticed that there was a mark there, but there was no more pain. There was no sort of dislocation or breakage that was apparent. And this morning I ended up doing a workout. A friend invited me to do a CrossFit workout, which I don't know if I've ever done, at least not in that way, and had absolutely no problem. Was jumping around and doing the stuff that I needed to do in that, and had a complete and total freedom from any belief of breakage or hurt. And I'm really grateful for that, but it comes from immediately declaring what we know to be true about ourselves, and immediately rejecting the suggestion that we could ever be separated from God, that we could ever be separated from harmony or peace. Just like that foal could never be separated from what the foal needed in that moment, could never be separated from the ideas it needed to get up and down off the hay, to find the mom and to be able to feed and to do the things that the foal needed. Very naturally, the foal knew exactly what to do. The mom knew what to do. This was the mom's first baby, and she knew exactly what to do to take care of her baby and how to nudge the baby into the right place and do the right things. Nature gives us such examples of how we are cared for at every moment. And all we have to do is accept it. Just accept that we are loved, accept that we are cared for, accept that all the ideas that we need to go forward and progress and grow and understand more of our perfection, all of those ideas are provided. That's what Christ truth consciousness is. It comes to us as inspiration in ways that we can understand, in a language that is meeting us right where we are. We don't have to be these lofty know-it-alls that have studied all this stuff and know all this stuff. It absolutely does not matter. We can be exactly where we are, and the Christ truth consciousness will meet us where we are and give us the ideas that we need in every moment. I remember driving across the country years ago. Our family had a VW camper, and it was really fun with our 2 kids. And we drove across kind of the northern part of the United States, lots and lots of cornfields. And driving, we hadn't gotten to Wall Drug yet, so if you've ever driven that northern route, which is really fun, we kept seeing signs from like 350 miles out, Wall Drug, 350 miles, and like the countdown began, and you just see signs all the way across for Wall Drug. So by the time you get there, you have to stop, of course. And get your 5-cent cup of coffee. But I remember driving across and looking at the cornfields, and there is that saying, knee-high by July. And I remember sitting there thinking, everything happens in its time. Everything there's that old line, there's a season for everything and everything in its season. But was watching the corn grow. I was sitting in the passenger seat, my husband was driving, and I just had sort of hours to look out at the corn and the fields and fields of corn. And just thinking, it's not rushed, it's not stressed, it's not thinking it should be taller in this moment. It's exactly where it needs to be in this moment. And eventually it will be a corn, a corn will grow and the corn will be harvested and the corn will be eaten and the husk will be there, and we are the same. We are the same. There is no rush. We are all growing at the pace we need to be growing. We are all progressing as we need to be progressing. as God wants us to progress. There's no need to rush and to stress and to strive and to angst over, why am I not farther along? And accepting that and not listening to the ego's plea to grab on and control, and just accepting that we have the gift from God to be at peace. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that God is all. Know that God is in control. Know that if we just look at nature, there are examples, infinite number of examples around us of how the laws of nature are the laws of spirit. The same laws that govern what we see in nature, that govern the growth of the plants and the animals, that govern the progress of the plants and the animals, that keep the stars in alignment, that keep the planets in alignment, that govern the tides, the coming and going of the tides, that everything is in balance, everything is in alignment, and it is all governed by the one intelligence that is governing all of it. And we fall under those same laws. The laws of nature are the laws of spirit. We are ideas in mind, spirit. That is my thought. Share this if you think someone might like these ideas. Healing occurs when we appeal to the laws of spirit. Healing occurs when we allow nature, spirit, to take control, and we discount the ego. When that incident happened with my toe, with the horse's hoof, I did not have to get involved in that. The ego did not have to jump in and try to control that situation and try to make something of it. And the sooner I got the ego out of the way, the sooner the situation took care of itself. I didn't have to do anything. It was absolutely fine. It was absolutely healed, virtually instantaneously. The pain left. And that can happen on, small scales and large scales, because suggestions come and there's no size to error. As another video I did talked about, there's no size of error. A suggestion is a suggestion. So we can reject the suggestion of mortal mind, i.e. fear-based ego thinking. We can reject it and say no. We always have a choice. I guess that's the thing that is really good to remember. We always have a choice what we're thinking. We always have a choice what we're going to accept as true about us. Are we going to accept that we naturally have health, that we naturally have abundance, that we naturally are in alignment with the force of life, the force of nature, the force of spirit, the all power of God? We are naturally aligned with that. And as we express qualities of God, and you can start thinking about all the qualities of good that you can express, as we express those qualities, we are lining ourselves up with what is true about us. What is true? What is our true north? And we can express that. There's a line, I should credit the author of that line that I keep quoting. The laws of nature are the laws of spirit. That's Mary Baker Eddy. And it's in the book Science and Health, which I know I quote a lot, but there's just so much in there. There was another line I was going to say too. That honesty is spiritual power, dishonesty is human weakness. Honesty is spiritual power. So that goes back to when we express the spiritual qualities, we are lining ourselves up with the power of God. Honesty is spiritual power. Why? Because honesty is more aligned with God than dishonesty. Therefore, it is more aligned with the power of spirit. And that's true for every good quality that we express. Okay, that is my thought tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Please be in touch with me and let me know if you have show ideas, ideasontruth@gmail.com. I usually repackage these from Facebook and put them on YouTube, a day later or so. So if you know somebody who's not watching on Facebook, because I know a lot of people have bailed on Facebook, there is a version of this on YouTube, which you can watch as well. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye.